You know, I'm going to tell you about something. I want to ask for your help, because I have come to some point here in my studies that's really amazing. And it has to do with the fact that, you know, so-called fivefold symmetry space has 5 times the complexity of fourfold symmetry space. And our architecture, our whole world is fourfold symmetry space. And my opinion is that our human brain can only deal with 3 directions: up, down, east, west, north, south, that's all. But inside fivefold symmetry space, there are 5 times this 3 axis, 15. And our brain cannot relate to this. So there's no wonder that the last 24 years or something like 24 years, a lot of universities around the world have tried to figure out what is this about quasi-crystals? Why does nature use quasi-crystals? And there's no answer to it yet. Except I have it, of course. But I have a problem. I want to share this with you, and maybe you can think about it a little bit, and maybe send me an email, and you know. And the thing is here that this has to do with the rhombic tricontrahedron. I'm not going to describe how this happens to be, but how come out. But this is a series. So you see 4 same forms. There are 8 forms on 90 degrees, and so there are about 32 forms. And these 8 forms are all different. Now, one of these forms is a non-form. I have to call it a non-form because it disappears. Let's say we have 2 forms. And you know these 2 forms. You know who they are and how they organize and everything. You know everything about them. Now, you make one cut through this form, and what you have 2 forms called, let's call them F2, and you have the same form you started out with. Okay? You cut this again, and you have 2 forms F2 again, and the same form you started out with. So the more you divide, the closer down to 0. Instead of 2 forms, you have just 1. How can you explain that? And this is really something that is really happening. It's a phenomena of this fivefold symmetry world, that this form, I call it F5, it is in there, and this is what happens. And I have no explanation for this as yet, but I would be happy if you thought about it. If I look into this and try to figure out how does it really work, how can fivefold symmetry space be packed? I kind of come to the conclusion that this conclusion is far away from the Einsteinian world, of course. I come to the conclusion that matter can have dimension or spatial thing, but space does not have a spatial issue. It is non-spatial, and it has to be an object. It has to be matter in order to have dimension, so-called 3 dimensions. Okay, so. But the other things that really perplexes me is this, and I'm not going to talk much longer. I'm just going to say, how can a form not be a form? Is it maybe a facilitator to other form? Is it we have 8 forms and they work together maybe? One of them helps the other to do something, or I don't know. But the fact is that these 2 forms turn into only one. The other one is gone. So, is it there or isn't it? I don't know. Thank you.